Good afternoon. Welcome to the midweek sports review on EzeSportsTV. It's always nice to come talk sports with you. And of course, today I have my usual suspect, Kesta, to do this with me. Kesta, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Harris.
Okay, as usual, we'll bring you all the happenings around the world as far as football and sports in general is concerned. And today, as usual, we'll be starting from the home front, from the Nigerian Professional Football League. Over the week, we had a lot of games in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Sunshine Stars playing out a goalless draw with Shooting Stars. Rainbow Stars 1-0 victors over Wiki Tourists. MFM FC played out a goalless draw with Enugu Rangers. Lobby Stars winning 2-1 against Nasarawa United. Kwara United winning Rivers United 2-1. That is the second loss of the season so far. And of course, Katsina United winning the defending champions 1-0 right there in Uyo. Heartland of Owerri, maintaining their good form, getting a win against Abia Warrior. It was an Oriental debut right there. Of course, the victory over the Niger Tornadoes' victory over Kano Pillars means Heartland have actually moved to the 17th position, still in the relegation draw, but for the first time in a long time we've seen Heartland making moves as far as the positions in the league are concerned. Enyimba International winning Gombe United 3-0 right there at Aba. Of course, Dakada FC also 1-0 victors over Plateau United. Kesta, lots of games within this past week, and of course we've seen results. We've seen Rivers United and of course Plateau United losing that game. Of course, Plateau United played a day before. With a victory, they would go 1 point closer to the table toppers, Rivers United. But unfortunately, they lost that game. And everybody thought maybe Rivers United will bounce on that opportunity and then go 7 points clear. Well, unfortunately for the Rivers side, they also lost that game away to Kwara United. We've seen how the season is heating up. Rivers United scoring plenty goals. Of course, the current top scorer on 13 goals is also a player of Rivers United. We've seen how good these teams are. But, so far, losing just 2 games in the entire season, that shows you how good the Rivers United side are. Of course, there's no changes as far as the table up there is concerned. It's still the usual suspect, in the usual positions. But down the drop, we've seen a lot of changes. Kesta, Heartland moving to the 17th position. Abia Warriors have actually dropped down to the 18th position. Kano Pillars, who were out of the relegation zone earlier, have actually dropped down to the 19th position. And of course, MFM are currently occupying the bottom place. Heartland at some point didn't look like they stand any chance of making it out of the relegation zone, but we've seen them going 3 games without losing any game. Kesta, do you think they are beginning to Heartland is about to do the Newcastle thing this particular season? Of course, we've seen how Newcastle have gone from the bottom of the table to the 9th position. Do you think Heartland is trying to pull off something like that, or do you think it's just some flick here and there?
No, I think they are trying to do something for themselves. It might not necessarily be in the same way Newcastle have put themselves away from where they were. Of course, Newcastle's story is very peculiar. We know what happened with the club, a change of ownership, and the new owners coming to invest in the team during the January transfer window. So, and it's playing out on the pitch. For Heartland, it's a little bit different. It's a team that didn't start the league very well, right from the start of the season. A lot of things were said about the welfare of the players and all that, and the state government, the owners of the club came out and said they have settled the players, they have paid them the arrears they are being owed and all that. And of course, normally we expected some reaction from the players, of which we are seeing from time to time. But one thing about Heartland is that they have not been consistent in trying to put themselves away from that position. But there is a very big chance for them. Of course, 3 games unbeaten now is a way to go as far as surviving in the the Nigerian Professional Football League is concerned. So they are doing it currently, just 1 point behind Lobby Stars in that relegation zone. If they continue the way they are going, I see them pulling away from that drop in that relegation position. They are really doing very well for themselves, trying to pick points both home and away. And there are still a lot of games to play for them to survive. And with the way they are going, I think they will do that. And then going on top of the table, they lost for Rivers United and Plateau United over the weekend shows yet how difficult and how improved our league is. In as much as these teams have played so well this season, try to blow some other teams away. We've also seen that there can also be, there can also meet some tough opposition on a good, of course, lose some games, and that's very good for our league. We want to have a league that is very predictable. We want to have a competitive league where you don't know what is going to happen, just as we have in the Premier League, where some teams pull off some surprises and win. Some teams you expect them to lose against on a good day, and that's what we've seen over the weekend about Plateau United and Rivers United losing their games, but still maintaining their position on top of the table. I still maintain that these are the two teams that are going to stand out at the end of the day. Rivers United being the more advantaged team as it stands now. I have seen them to go ahead and win the league, but it's still open for any other team to come and overtake them. But I see them, of course, Plateau United maintaining their positions on top of the league.
All right, Kesta, let's focus more on the Port Harcourt clubs. Currently, we have Rivers United at the top of the log. We have, of course, Rivers United on top of the log, and we have Plateau United in second position, Remo Stars on the third position, Enugu Rangers occupying the fourth position, and Kwara United on the fifth, and of course the defending champions Akwa United on the sixth position. Port Harcourt club, the two Rivers State clubs, are doing wonderful. We've seen Rivers United going 10 games unbeaten, and then losing that first game against Plateau United, and going another 11 games unbeaten before losing the game against Kwara United. I mean, you've seen how informed these teams are. It's been a long time since we saw teams in the Nigerian Professional Football League going 11 games without losing a game. I mean, that's a whole lot. That shows how good these guys have actually been for the whole of the season. And of course, Remo Stars, a team that just got promoted from the championship, you would actually expect them to be right there battling to survive and stay in the league. But we've seen them, trying to, push, and not just, trying to make it to the CAF competitions, but trying to see if they can actually push to see if they can actually challenge for the title itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look likely to me before the start of the season, but we've seen how it's turning out. I mean, what do you think is actually working out for these two Rivers State clubs?
It's not really about where they are coming from. It's about the club management. Of course, Rivers United, we've analyzed before, a team that is made up of the old Sharks of Port Harcourt, and of course Dolphins of Port Harcourt. They came together and became Rivers United, and since then we've seen a very decent and improved Rivers United doing some good things for themselves. Of course, if they end up winning the league, it will be a very big major achievement for them, and of course it will be a very big step for them going forward to register their name in the Nigerian Professional Football League as one of the top clubs to respect in the league. And Remo Stars is a surprise package for everybody that follows Nigerian Professional Football League. They got promoted, of course. You mentioned normally this kind of team will come and try to survive and maintain their status as a professional football league club, but we've seen them started the league very well. At a point, they were topping the table for so many weeks, and then, of course, they're not still far away where they are right now. In the third position, you can say that they're really far behind in terms of where you consider the points of which they are trailing Rivers United and Plateau United for. But that position of finishing in CAF competition position is very, very important to them. And currently they're in that position in the third place. If they can maintain that position and finish at the third position, it will be a major and massive achievement for them at the end of the season. So it's kudos to the management of Rivers United and, of course, Remo Stars.
Of course, Remo Stars is a privately owned football club in Nigeria, and of course, Rivers United is owned by the Rivers State government. Currently on the goal log, we have Isaac, that is the Rivers United striker, on 13 goals, stopping the league, and of course, Abdulaziz of Gombe United on 11 goals. Mbaoma of Enyimba International is on 11 goals as well. And then we have Ekbe of Remo Stars on 10 goals, and then Akanute of Rivers United as well on 9 goals. That shows how little these people have been. Of course, over the weekend we had so many games in the English Premier League. Of course, Newcastle versus Liverpool was the first kickoff for the day. It ended 1-0 in favour of Liverpool. It was a hard-fought victory for them. Of course, Aston Villa winning Norwich City 2-0. Southampton losing 1-2 to Crystal Palace after taking the lead, and of course Watford as well losing 1-2 to Burnley after taking the lead first. Brighton and Hove Albion were 3-0 victors away to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and of course Manchester City winning Leeds United 4-0 away from home. On Sunday we saw Everton winning Chelsea 1-0 at the Goodison Park, and of course Tottenham Hotspur trashing Leicester City 3-1. Kelechi Iheanacho getting that wonderful goal for himself, and of course Arsenal had a hard-fought away victory to West Ham United. It's a 2-1 victor. With this result, Liverpool took the lead, went top of the table. Manchester City coming back with that emphatic win over Leeds United to go back to the top. Chelsea losing that game, but still right there in the top position. Arsenal winning that particular game, of course, they had to come back to the fourth after Tottenham had won Leicester City and occupied the fourth place position. Manchester United on Monday were 2-0 victors over Brentford. So far it is Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal occupying the top four, and of course Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United occupying the fifth and sixth positions respectively. Kesta, the Premier League is actually going to the wire. Liverpool and Man City not giving up. Chelsea not actually in a great form after that loss against Arsenal, coming back to win again and then going on to lose against Everton. Everton on the other hand, a team trying to see if they can actually escape relegation. They've gotten that victory over Manchester United, and not too long after that they've gotten that also victory against Chelsea. Burnley also kicking on the other hand. Arsenal and Tottenham trying to battle it out as far as the top four is concerned. It is looking messy as far as the English Premier League is concerned, Kesta.
It's looking interesting. It's very, very looking quite interesting, and this is a league we have always watched. The Premier League, one of the best league in the world, if not the best. It's actually the best league in world football, and we are enjoying what we are seeing. The fight goes on as far as who wins the title is concerned. Liverpool, Manchester City. Of course, Manchester City is currently topping the table with 1 point. Of course, with about 4 fixtures, 4 games still remaining. So it's still very much open. Anything can still happen at this stage. If anyone sleeps now, I'm sure the opponent will always capitalize on it to make sure they distance themselves from the other one. So it's very interesting. Of course, there's also the fight for the top four. Chelsea losing their game have also thrown it very much open. There is now two positions now being in contention as far as top four is concerned. The third place, and of course the fourth place, because Chelsea with that loss is now just 3 points behind Arsenal, who is in the fourth position. And of course Tottenham is not far away, just 2 points behind Arsenal in fifth. Of course, you can say that Manchester United with the win against Brentford have given themselves another chance to see if anything can happen. But as far as I'm concerned, they are not going to be in the they have just 2 games to go. And of course, trailing Arsenal by 6 points is no good thing for them. I don't see anyhow they are going to come back to make it to the top 4 again. But finishing well, of course, we do them a lot of good coming into the next season to see if they can bounce back to become the Manchester United we used to know. But it's very interesting, the top 4 fights. Arsenal looking like a team that might make it. I think after this coming fixtures where they face Leeds United, of course, hoping that Liverpool will beat Tottenham, might see them go 5 points ahead of Tottenham before that North London rival, which is going to be a very determinant match as far as who finishing the top 4 is concerned. That match we say a lot because after that game, the next 2 fixtures, I think Arsenal is having tougher games in the next 2 fixtures than Tottenham is. And anything can still happen as it stands now. It's just 2 points above Tottenham. If Tottenham can also pull off a surprise against Liverpool, and of course they will have that chance against Arsenal, for that North London derby, which to me and to a lot of people is going to determine how the top 4 might look like at the end of the season. But it's very interesting to watch this beautiful league. Of course, you mentioned Everton with that big win against Chelsea. they've won Manchester United, recently. Of course, getting that win against Chelsea have shown how Frank Lampard does in a big match, like when you don't expect him to do anything. Of course, we saw their game against Manchester City and how difficult it was for City to beat Everton. With a lot of controversies and all that behind the game. And of course, Everton, as it stands now, is looking like they have brought their fate back into their hands. They have it all in their hands now. I think they have played one game lesser than Burnley and Leeds United, of which if they can secure 3 points in that game, can move ahead of both clubs. As it stands now, Leeds United is having more difficult fixtures to play than Burnley. Of course, Everton also have difficult fixtures, but if you consider the form and how they have played facing some big side, you have to give them the chance to see if they will survive at the end of the season. So it's fights at the top, and of course the fight at the bottom. It goes on, and I think it continues until the last week of the season.
Of course, the English Premier League, a lot of surprises here and there, lots of things to expect. Of course, last night we had Champions League football. It was Villarreal versus Liverpool right there in Spain. It ended 2-3 in favor of Liverpool, having that first half scare. Of course, Baledaya and of course Francis Coquelin getting the 2 goals, and of course Tianin Kapua was the man behind the 2 goals, and it was looking like it's a done deal for Villarreal, because coming into the second half, though the commentator was right to say that Liverpool doesn't have any reason to panic, even with the 2-0 ahead that Villarreal were having, I mean, they are not on the losing side. It means that the game is equal. You still have something to play for, and I think Liverpool actually understood that in the second half. Bringing in Diaz changed that game. Fabinho getting that goal, assist from Salah. Of course, Trent Arnold with that wonderful assist for Diaz, and of course Naby Keita giving Sadio Mane the 3rd goal. Tonight we will have another game right there in Spain. Real Madrid versus Manchester City. A lot is actually being expected of that game, considering how the first leg went down in England. It ended 4-3 in favor of Manchester City. Everybody's looking forward to see what Real Madrid are going to be doing today, if they would fight back to see if they can do what they did against Chelsea, if they can do what they did against PSG, or if this will be the end of the road for them. Kesta, last night we had Liverpool, Villarreal, and of course tonight Real Madrid versus Manchester City.
Liverpool, Villarreal was an interesting game. I predicted the first leg to end 3-2 in favor of Liverpool at Anfield, but they now did that scoreline yesterday at Villarreal. So you could say that I was not too far away in my prediction. Even though Liverpool won that first leg at Anfield by 2-0 against Villarreal. After that game, a lot of people thought Villarreal is just out and out. I mean, they weren't going to ever come back from 2 goals down against a Liverpool side. But in the first half, they tried to prove a lot of people wrong. They came into that match with a different style. Liverpool could not understand what was happening to them. Liverpool could not return ball possession. Villarreal literally took the ball possession away from them. They were playing, from the start of the whistle, of course, to the end of that first 45 minutes. It was all Villarreal, and they deservedly, led in that first half by 2-0. Of course, Liverpool being Liverpool, knowing what is at stake, came back in the second half in another dimension, and then they did what they were expected to do, to try and steal that one. 3-2 it ended on the night. Of course, 5-2 on aggregate. A big win for Liverpool. Now they are still maintaining that opportunity for the quadruple already in the Champions League final as it stands, already in the FA Cup final as it stands. Just 1 point behind Manchester City for the Premier League. Of course, already the League Cup in their cabinet. So Liverpool, a team that is doing everything right as far as this season is concerned. Nobody doubted them. They did what we expected them to do, and that is making sure they beat Villarreal to make it into the final of the UEFA Champions League. And tonight we're going to be having a more interesting game in the Real Madrid game against Manchester City. Of course, the first leg ended 4-3 in favor of Manchester City at the Etihad. Now they are going to be traveling to Spain to face Real at the Bernabeu. It's never going to be easy for Manchester City. I said it before. If there's a team that's going to beat Manchester City and knock them out of the Champions League, it will be this Real Madrid side that we have watched this season. They're already the champions of Spain, in Spain, of La Liga. They won it emphatically the manner they have done with some games to spare, and then with the way they have managed to carry themselves up to this stage in the Champions League. You look at Real Madrid and what they have done against a team like PSG, against a team like Chelsea. I mean, you give them a chance against Manchester City, and even judging from what they did in the first leg when they conceded a lot of goals and equally scored a lot of goals themselves. 4-3 is never a big gap for a team like Real Madrid. They can always come back. So it's going to be a very difficult game. Of course, we know that Manchester City on their own is a very difficult team to play. You know, they will always like to have the position, play their beautiful game and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see who carries the day. It's just a very difficult one to know who is going to take the day in that particular one, because it won't be like the Liverpool-Villarreal game where a lot of people expected Liverpool to win. In this one, it's going to be difficult to call because Manchester City knows that if for them to win the Champions League, you have to beat this Real Madrid side. That's the only way to make it to the final. And of course, we've always known that Real Madrid is the most successful club as far as UEFA Champions League is concerned. They've won it over and over again. Playing at home, with they feel more relaxed in this second leg, with just one goal to score and then come back into the game fully, is looking very open for both sides.
Okay, of course, Real Madrid, talking about Manchester City, John Stone is still out after that particular injury in that fixture, but Kyle Walker is back into the team and he traveled with the team to Spain, even though Pep Guardiola has said it is going to be a last-minute decision to see if he's going to participate in that fixture. Joao Cancelo is back into the team after missing the first leg because of suspension. David Alaba, on the other hand, it doesn't seem like he will be featuring in that particular game. Real Madrid having a shaky defense, but of course Casemiro is back into the squad. He played over the weekend, and Carlo Ancelotti have come out to say that he actually is fit and available to participate in this particular fixture tonight. With these changes at the back for both sides, do you think Manchester City would concede less? Do you think them conceding 3 goals in the first leg was down to from some personnel missing, or do you think it was down to Real Madrid being so good? On the other hand as well, do you think Madrid conceding 4 was down to them having some shaky and some personnel missing in the defense, or was it down to Manchester City being so prolific going forward?
I mean, when it comes to this fixture, Manchester City versus Real Madrid or Real Madrid versus Manchester City, it's never down to who is missing or who is not missing. I mean, these are 2 great clubs. Whoever that is on the pitch on the day knows the responsibility they have to perform for the club. So, I mean, it makes both sides. You talked about Manchester City with some players that might not be participating, of course, the ones that are returning. And it's same for Real Madrid, where you consider that some players might not participate and some are also returning. Real Madrid have executed the season with so many injuries in their team. They've only had key players being injured in the defense, in midfield, in attack and all that, but it hasn't stopped them to perform. Whoever that is starting knows how important the game is for them. I think their most important player in that team is Karim Benzema. I think that's the only player you always miss when he doesn't play for Real Madrid. You can talk about Luka Modric and Kroos, but Carlo Ancelotti have proven to be an expert in trying to always make 1 or 2 changes in that midfield area and still get the desired result. So I think Karim Benzema is just a player that is standing out for Real Madrid, and that's the only player I see them struggle when he's not involved in the team. And for Manchester City, you hardly pick out a player that they struggle when he's not participating. I mean, Pep Guardiola has mastered the way of playing this team, rotating his players, and that's the importance of having a very large squad and all that. He has always come up with different type of players and different type of formations, considering the type of game he's playing. So it's going to be a game that's going to be won on what you deliver on the pitch, and not because somebody is missing and who that person is playing. Yeah.
What's your prediction, Kesta?
I mean, I see Real Madrid winning that game by 2-1, and that will make them to finish the match on 5-5 aggregate score, and then whatever that happens from there, I don't know, but I see Real Madrid winning that game by 2-1.
Okay, 2-1 for Kesta. Of course, this is still the midweek sports review on EzeSportsTV. Continue to stay with us and always keep a date with us. Every Wednesday we'll come here to bring you all the happenings on sports and of course football all around the world. Kesta, is always wonderful to talk sports with you. Thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, today, the man behind the cameras, Mensa, thank you so much for making sure that the fans are always there to, watch us talk sports every Wednesday. I still remain your host, Harrison. This is still the Midweek Sports Review. Continue to keep it there with us next week Wednesday, when we will come to discuss this particular fixture tonight, and of course, all the other happenings around sports over the weekend. Thank you for being with us, and have a nice evening.